Okay, hello everyone. Those who are watching this video stumbled upon my channel. Guess I'm just here to talk about my top 10 favorite movies of all time. Never really done anything like this before, so by the way, this is going to be completely unedited, all in one shot. So here goes nothing. But coming in at number 10, Whiplash. Uh, Honestly, I didn't get to see this movie in theaters when it first came out, and I wish I did because the first time I saw this film, it was just, man, it was like one of those movies that just feels like so perfect, with its acting, its editing, its music, you know. I honestly think J.K. Simmons and Miles Teller, they did a phenomenal job in this movie. Phenomenal acting, great script, great story, everything. And Damien Chazelle, directorial debut for him. He went on to make La La Land and then First Man. He's a really great director. If you haven't seen any of his movies or this one, I highly recommend it. Um, yeah, it's just one of those films that just really got me. It's one of these films that got me started rating movies, basically. Uh, Going on Letterbox, but before then I had Flixster, so I would use Flixster to rate movies. Then I got Letterbox a few years later. Yeah, I just really enjoy. Uh, After watching this movie, really enjoyed just rating films in general. Wanted to do that, so I have this movie to thank for. Anyway, coming in at number nine, ninth favorite film, Drive. Uh, this is not only my ninth favorite film, but it's also my favorite Ryan Gosling movie. He is one of my favorite actors as well. If you've seen him in, for example, if you've seen him in Blade Runner 2049, he's very great in that film. Oh man, this other movie that I've seen him in? I'm trying to remember right now. I can't think of it. But anyway, let's talk about this one. This film, when I first saw it, I thought it was great. At first, I thought it was really good. Then I let a friend of mine. I recommended this movie to a friend of mine, and he thought it was amazing. He gave it his perfect score, 5 stars. I gave 4.5, and then I thought about it, and I figured, you know what? Let me just rewatch. Let me rewatch this again. Let me see. So I rewatched it again, and this time, second viewing, I really paid attention to the detail of this film, like the atmosphere, the music. Well, music, yeah, I guess. But mainly the atmosphere and the acting, uh, the whole how I put it, the story, yeah, but the camera editing, all this, he's a getaway driver, so I try to pay attention to the small details when he's in those scenes when he's driving, basically. And that's another thing, Ryan Gosling. For those of you who've seen this movie and don't know or haven't seen it either way, Ryan Gosling doesn't actually have a name in this movie. He doesn't really. His character doesn't have a name. He's just known as the driver. But yeah, my favorite Ryan Gosling movie, my ninth favorite movie. Again, I highly recommend this movie. I recommend all the movies that I have on my top 10 favorite movie list. But it's great, really good, really good. And it's another steelbook that I own, just like Whiplash. And I put my own custom art if you want to see that. So yeah. hmm Anyway, at number 8, I got Sicario, the first film by Denis Villeneuve, who went on to direct Dune, another great movie. But honestly, like, this is one of these movies that's just. I did see this in theaters too, by the way. And when I saw it in theaters, I was just like so like in shock afterwards. Like I couldn't believe what I just saw, and it was like, wow, wow. Honestly, one of the standout performances I would probably be Benicio del Toro. I really enjoyed his character in this movie, and I love him even more in the sequel. Sequel's good, but I much prefer this one. Mainly because Denis Villeneuve directed it, and it has one of my favorite actresses, Emily Blunt. So, and Josh Brolin. Josh Brolin's great in it too. I really like him in this movie and in the sequel. But yeah, one of the standouts of this film is the cinematography. I really, really enjoyed the cinematography of this film, especially in the scenes where, oh man, I hope I'm saying this right, but like the scene where it's Emily Blunt, Josh Brolin, Benicio del Toro, and like they see like these people, I guess, trying to cross the border. Like you see all these cars in this road trying to cross the border, and kind of like this little shootout, almost. And yeah, it is a shootout, and that scene, that whole action of the scene is amazing. And again, like I said, the cinematography. I feel like I should say more stuff about this film. It's just I don't want to give it away for those who haven't seen it because it's a really, really great film, and I really, really enjoy it and highly recommend. Oh man, oh yeah, it's so amazing though. Yeah, but again, about the director Denis Villeneuve, he is one of my favorite directors of all time, in my top five. If you haven't seen any of his work or only seen one or two movies, I highly recommend his films. Movies like Sicario, Prisoners, Enemy, his newest one, Dune, and I previously mentioned Blade Runner 2049. He directed that film with Ryan Gosling. Another great film that I previously mentioned. But anyway, at number seven, old classic, Fight Club, directed by excuse me, David Fincher. And I mean, when this movie came out, I was only 2 years old at the time, so I didn't see this in theaters. Uh, they never re like they never put this back in theaters for me to watch. So you get what you get, and it's another steelbook, obviously. By the way, but yeah, Fight Club. It's a really great film by David Fincher. My favorite of his. It was great. When I first saw it, it was like great, but a little confusing. Like wondering like what's going on between these two until spoiler alert. Okay, click off this video if you haven't seen Fight Club. But at the very end, you find out that uh, Brad Pitt's character is actually uh, Edward Norton's character, the narrator. You imagine this guy up. But yeah, it's another great film, but great film in my list. Great film by Fincher. Um, I know his most recent film is Mank. Mank was another good one, but yeah, I really like this film for the little twist at the end when I first saw it, and I do like to rewatch it. So yeah. Anyway, okay, now this one we're getting. Well, Fight Club came out in '99, I believe. This is another '90s film, but this one, Shawshank Redemption, my favorite Stephen King adaptation and my favorite Morgan Freeman movie, I guess. But yeah, I mean, all these movies are great, but this one especially, it's just so many great scenes, and oh man, and of course, you got Morgan Freeman narrating, so that's always a plus in my book. Hearing Morgan Freeman narrate. But yeah, oh man, this movie is just amazing. There's just like right now, there's not enough words I would say to describe how good this movie is, but you just have to see for yourself. I really don't want to give away this movie, like give up the story and all that. If you haven't seen it, please watch it. I do recommend it. And of course, that scene where he's in the rain. It's been parodied many many times. I've seen, but really really great. Um, Highly recommend. So yeah, I know I didn't really say much about this movie, but again, just trying something new here. And now we get to Catch Me If You Can. This is my fifth favorite movie of all time, and it's my favorite Spielberg movie it's basically what I'm trying to say. Steven Spielberg is my favorite director of all time, and Tom Hanks is my favorite actor of all time. And Leonardo DiCaprio, he's also amazing in this movie. Great. A friend of mine, his favorite actor is actually Leonardo DiCaprio. But see, when I first saw this movie, it came out in 2002. I was 5, so I wasn't really into these type of movies when I was 5. But I'm glad I did see it when it eventually came out on DVD, and then of course I bought the Blu-ray. But anyway, oh, and it also it's not only directed by my favorite director Steven Spielberg, it stars my favorite actor Tom Hanks, but it also features my favorite actress Amy Adams. So basically, this is, you could say, the perfect movie for me, but it's only at my fifth spot. But that's because I have like 4 others that are just great. Anyway, yeah, and when I first saw this, I thought, it was so amazing. I didn't even know at the time when I first watched it, it was based on a true story. And then shortly after, I rated it, I found out, like, oh, okay, it's based on a true story. Okay, that's pretty cool. But yeah, uh, what I mainly, my favorite, spoiler alert for this movie, my favorite scene in this movie, Catch Me If You Can, is where he's Leonardo DiCaprio, his character Frank Abagnale Jr. is almost caught by Tom Hanks' character Hanratty. He's in this hotel area, and like he gets out of this bathroom. Leonardo DiCaprio gets out of this bathroom while Tom Hanks is in the hotel room, and like he's telling him to put your hands up in the air, and like he almost gets caught, but he uses his clever tricks and says, relax. I'm Allen, Detective Allen, Barry Allen, Secret Service. It's not only one of my favorite scenes my favorite scene in the movie, but also funny because Barry Allen is the Flash, which also comes up later on when Tom Hanks is trying to figure out who this guy is, Barry Allen, and this guy comes up to him saying, "Oh, you're a big fan of the Flash," and then he finds out that, oh, Barry Allen is the Flash. But yeah, again, Spielberg, my favorite director. And in case you didn't notice, I have a poster here of Raiders of the Lost Ark, one of my favorite, if not my favorite, movie franchise of all time. I enjoy all of them, even the fourth one. But anyway, back to this movie. Such an amazing film. I not only own the Blu-ray, but also own it on digital on my Vudu account. This is made by Paramount, so Vudu. Anyway, number 4. Okay, now this one, probably those of you who are watching probably don't know about this movie. If you have, that's great. Those who probably seen it, or probably see the title, probably seen the remake. I have not seen the remake. I don't care to see the remake. The less said about the remake, the better. Anyway, Point Break, my favorite Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze movie, directed by Catherine Bigelow. She went on to direct The Hurt Locker, Zero Dark 30, Detroit. So many good movies. But yeah, this movie, it's nothing big, nothing grand, nothing like that. It's just it's a heist movie, basically. Yeah, it's basically what it is. Johnny Utah goes undercover as a surfer trying to find these bank robbers who are essentially surfers. But so many great one-liners. Like where Patrick Swayze's character, he tells Johnny Utah, Keanu Reeves' character, sorry, Johnny, you don't get to be president. And then Keanu Reeves, later in the scene, he says, I am an FBI agent. It's so funny. And this how I got introduced to this movie was actually from my brother. My brother saw this movie. He introduced me to this film, and then years later, I saw this on another a little video of this movie, a review by John Flickinger, the Flick Pig. He's one of my favorite YouTubers. Anyway, yeah, there's this one line in the movie, me and my brother like the quote, where Patrick Swayze, he tells this guy, harassing Keanu Reeves' character, Johnny Utah, Brody, that's his name. Patrick Swayze's character, Brody. He tells this guy, "Hey, back off, War Child. Seriously." It's kind of corny, but at the same time, it's amazing. It's fun. I love it. Uh, yeah, definitely. Please watch this movie. Do not watch the remake. Please don't watch the remake. You're doing a disservice by watching that. Watch the original, the 1991 classic. It is so good. I highly recommend it, and it will not disappoint you. Anyway, uh, on to number three on my list, Pulp Fiction. Keanu Reeves. My bad. Why did I say Keanu? Well, I still have Point Break in my head. My bad. Quentin Tarantino. That's what I meant to say. Quentin Tarantino. He's in my top five. Denis Villeneuve is my fourth favorite director. Spielberg is my first. David Fincher is my third. And Quentin Tarantino, he is my fifth favorite director of all time. Definitely my top five. I gave basically all his films a perfect rating. All his films are great, but this one is the best one because there's just so many scenes that I love. So dialogue is amazing. The dialogue and the quotes, all that. Oh man, I mean, oh, and this also came out in 1994, the same year as Shawshank Redemption. Anyway, Pulp Fiction. Honestly, just it's like you're having a good time with these characters, basically. But oh man, it's like so many good scenes, so many good quotes. I mean, honestly, like one of the best quotes I could think of is uh, the scene where he's interrogating Brad. He has Big Kahuna Burger and he says, he's like saying, "What? What? Say what again? I dare you! I don't dare you!" One of my favorite scenes, one of my favorite dialogue in the film, and also earlier, when they're talking about a quarter pounder with cheese in Paris, they call it a royale with cheese. So many great scenes. I love it. I honestly love this film. But anyway, well, we are at my second favorite movie of all time, and that is Collateral, starring Tom Cruise and Jamie Foxx. And for a while, Tom Cruise was my favorite actor, which is, he's in so many action films. Mission Impossible being my favorite franchise of his, but then moving on to Tom Hanks. Because, I noticed he worked a lot with Spielberg, and I started to watch more of Tom Hanks films, So anyway, Collateral. What I like about this film, again, is the atmosphere, because it takes place all in one night. I like those type of settings that take place during the night, like this movie and Drive. There's a lot of scenes in Drive that take place at night. But yeah, this film. What I enjoy about this movie, honestly, is Tom Cruise. He usually plays the good guy, the hero in most of his films. Like Mission Impossible, Top Gun, Edge of Tomorrow, another great film. This one, he's the villain. So, I thought this was a really great performance by him, as the villain. Yeah. And then, Jamie Foxx, of course, he does a good performance in this film. He's kind of like forced into this, he finds out Tom Cruise is this hitman, essentially. He's forcing Jamie Foxx to take him to all these places so he can essentially kill these people. Then you find out at the very end, Jada Pinkett Smith is in this film, by the way. You find out at the very end that his last person to kill is her. And Jamie Foxx realizes, he has to save her, from all that. But yeah, really, really good film. Really enjoyed it. So, finally, we're at my favorite movie of all time. Before I show you this, I already let you know about my favorite director is Spielberg. My third favorite director is David Fincher. My fourth favorite director is Denis Villeneuve, and my fifth is Quentin Tarantino. My second favorite director directed my favorite movie of all time, and that is Martin Scorsese directing Goodfellas. My favorite film of all time. I love this film. And again, it's another steelbook. I originally had this on Blu-ray, and then I upgraded to the 4K, And then when I found out the 4K was having a steelbook upgrade to that, I love this film so much. I love the cover right here of the suit and tie, the back design of the gun, and the little shot glass. Oh, what I love about this film so much is just first off, it's based off a true story. Uh, it's based around the book as well of a wise guy. I have the book. I'm not gonna show it here though. It's somewhere here in my room. I can't find it. But anyway, anyway. Oh, there's so many good things about this film. Honestly, that opening, that beginning scene of Ray Liotta, Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, they're in the car, they're driving, and they hear like little bump sounds, and they see that body, that the dead body's not actually dead. It's still alive. Joe Pesci, stabs him to death, to make sure he's dead. That opening, and then the opening narration where Ray Liotta says, "As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster." Closes the trunk, and then you hear Tony Bennett's "Rags to Riches." That's perfection right there. As soon as I saw that film, I just realized this is the perfect film ever. A masterpiece. As soon as I saw that first scene, I was like, I'm already gonna rate this my perfect score of 5 stars, 10 out of 10, A+. It's amazing. So good. If you haven't seen this movie already, please, I really, really recommend that you watch it. It's so good, and honestly, one of my favorite scenes, almost dialogue as well. It's like that scene when uh, Ray Liotta, Joe Pesci, they're at this diner, and Ray Liotta says, "Yeah, you're a really funny guy," and like, Joe Pesci tells him like, "Funny how? Huh? Like a clown? Huh? Like I amuse you?" That scene just it's one of my favorite scenes. It's just like so many good scenes, quotable lines, everything about this movie is amazing. Robert De Niro's performance, oh my god. Honestly, Martin Scorsese, he's my second favorite director, I know, but he made my favorite film ever. And I honestly believe that Martin Scorsese, out of all the films I've seen of his, has not made a single bad film. He is one of the best directors I've watched, out of his movies. Yeah, Goodfellas. It's such an amazing film. And let's see, those of you who are still tuning into the video, thank you. First of all, thank you. I want to show you this. Now look at that. That is amazing, right? Yeah. And don't worry, I have the discs. I have them right here, so don't worry. I didn't see. Okay. Anyway, those are my top 10 favorite movies of all time. Definitely check them out if you haven't already, and let me know in the comments below. What are your favorite movies of all time? Do you have a top 10 favorite movies list, or just one favorite movie of all time? Favorite franchise, maybe? Favorite director? Favorite actor? Actress? Just let me know. But anyway, this is just me trying something new on my channel. Subscribe for more. Maybe I'll post some more videos. All right, see ya. Bye.